Disclaimer, sorry about your toes, because I'm probably going to step on a few here. Look, we are living in a time of smoke and mirrors and ones and zeros. And 2 weeks ago, I created my first video the day after the Charlie Kirk shooting, because I recognized immediately that this was gonna be a huge, high impact, world stage type of event, and that we were gonna be lied to about it. And now that it's been 2 weeks, you can clearly see that that's absolutely the case. I mean, the official narrative surrounding this is so bad, it's so sloppy, that it's honestly laughable. And I just really hope that people are seeing through the lies. I mean, I understand that there's always going to be these people that just listen to whatever the television tells them on their favorite programming, you know, whatever channel they listen to. But yeah, it's obvious by now that if you spend just a little bit of time looking into this, that you've been lied to very, very badly in this one. I mean, let's just go over a few of the details here, just to skim over how ridiculous this thing is. So, the shooter. Well, before we even get to the shooter, let's not forget that we started out with this thing. We got the guy. Oh, we don't have the guy. Oh, we got the guy. Oh, we don't have the guy. We're looking for the guy. Those two guys, they were released. We're still looking for the guy. But we have such good, clear CCTV footage, visual evidence, that we're not going to put it out right now because we're confident in what we have, that we're gonna find this guy. And so, you know, time passes. I think there's a lot of pressure from the public, and they still don't have this guy. So they released the footage, and the footage shows, you know, this young guy, and they're essentially just still shots of this guy from the footage going up the stairwell, and then other footage comes out from personal homeowners in the neighborhood or whatever, with their own security camera footage of him like walking around, limping. And anyway, you know, they put the footage out of this guy and they say, you know, here's the guy, help us find him or whatever. And you know, eventually they're tipped off that the family of this guy recognizes that it's their son. And there's this whole thing that takes place with that. And ultimately, he's convinced to turn himself in. And so, now they got their guy. And the next thing is they put out a mugshot of this guy. And he really looks nothing like the guy in the CCTV footage. And so now, like, people are taking both images and putting them side by side and saying, look, this guy doesn't look anything like the guy. So now they have to address that. And so they come out and say, well, the footage wasn't that great. We needed to use AI to alter it or to enhance it or whatever they said. But their reasoning was that they had to use AI with the images that they had, which should absolutely terrify everybody. Like, everybody should be terrified by the thought of that. If they can use AI to alter images in any way and then use those to pin blame of a murder onto somebody, that is a scary thought. That's a scary thought. And I mean, I don't know if that's, I wouldn't think that would hold up in court, but who knows in this world that we live in today, you know? Because like I said, smoke and mirrors, ones and zeros. We live in this techno state, you know. this is what's coming. I mean, we're already here. It's already here. But regardless, then they start to form their narrative. And so, you know, they're saying, well, we got him going up the stairwell, you know, he goes out onto the roof, and we have imprints on the roof, and we found a screwdriver with his DNA on it, and we can see where he clearly laid down, prone position, and took this shot. And then he runs across the roof. There's footage of him running across the roof, following the shot, jumps off the roof, runs over into this section of woods, and ultimately leaves the weapon there. So let's talk about the weapon. I mean, they're saying that this is a 30-06, which is a high caliber rifle, and that, I don't know, because their story changed. Initially, it was he had this rifle shoved down his skinny jeans, and unless they AI altered his jeans in some way, it doesn't appear that he has a gun in his pants. But whatever. I mean, there's plenty of, you know, there's plenty of videos online of people showing how that's possible. So, but in those videos, the guns broke down. So he comes out onto the roof. He remains calm and collective enough with thousands of people and all this security to assemble this rifle, take a shot, hit his target, disassemble the gun, run across the roof, jump off the roof, which is like 2 stories, and you can see in the footage clearly, like, that it doesn't appear there's a rifle anywhere. They're saying that it's in the towel in his hand. Well, if it's the gun in one piece, the towel's flailing around, like, that doesn't make sense. And if it's broke down, if he broke it down, now it's in multiple pieces, which doesn't make sense. Like, but then he goes over to the woods there and nicely puts the gun back together, and then puts it in the towel and leaves it there for them to find, which is just ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. And then this whole thing with the assembling of the gun, it's been, you know, analyzed online, and with this Mauser, this is not an easy gun to break down and to reassemble. And everything I've seen, a screwdriver is not the tool for the job. I mean, you need a Torx and you need Allen wrenches. So do with that what you will. It doesn't matter. You know, the thing is with this one, and typically in these things, there's always a smoking gun, which is like one thing that happens that just blows the official narrative out of the water. In this case, like, pick one. I don't even know. Like, I couldn't even pinpoint one because they're all equally the same, like, ridiculousness in this. It's literally that bad. It's that bad. But this gun also appears, the picture they show of it, that the scope's not mounted properly on the gun. He should have been walking away with a black eye after taking that shot. And it's a good thing he hit him with the first round, because it doesn't look like he's going to be able to rack another shell into that gun, because the bolt's going to hit the scope, the side adjustment on the scope. And I mean, I could be wrong about that. I didn't have the gun in my hand. I'm just saying that's what it appears like in the photo. And I have guns. I know how to use guns. I know how they work. It just doesn't look right to me. But regardless of that, that's the official narrative. And they got their guy, you know, and that works out so nicely for them, because this guy happens to be far left. Well, he comes from a right family, a right-leaning Trump-supporting family, but he goes off to university and gets programmed into this leftist way of thinking, and he's in a relationship with a furry, and, you know, he's supports the trans community and this whole thing, and there's etchings on the bullets to support all this, and so these texts, because I think, you know, when this all happens, people are like, well, like, what's this all about? What's the backstory here? How did this happen? Why did he do it? This, that. And then all of a sudden, oh, we got these text messages that just lay it all out. I mean, these texts are absolutely ridiculous. Like, the grammar that's used in them is ridiculous. The texts themselves, the thought that this person is smart enough to carry out this assassination, but he's dumb enough to, within hours after it, to start texting his little furry lover every single detail about what he has done is, it's ludicrous. I mean, how stupid do you have to be to do something like that? I mean, it's so ridiculous to me. And it's even more ridiculous that that's what they put that out and expect people to believe it. And again, I know there's people out there that just accept everything they're told, but I mean, for those that are independent free thinkers, and I know that today there's a lot more of them than what there used to be, there's no way. There's just no way. This whole thing is laughable. The texts are a joke, but it just so happens that these texts are essentially the script all packaged up in a nice little package with a nice little bow on top and presented to the public. Here it is. Here's the official narrative, all described in these texts. You know, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. It's laughable, honestly. But we don't even have to stop there. Like, we can keep going. Then, you know, there's all these, there's so many analysis online of the actual shooting itself, where, you know, the caliber of the gun's in question, what angle it came from's in question, where he was hit, was that an entry or an exit wound? Like, all these different things are being analyzed, and analyzed thoroughly online at this point. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what happened, because I don't. And honestly, when these things happen, I don't know that we ever truly do understand what actually happened. But the important thing here, and for me, the important thing is that you understand that you're being lied to. If we can at least get to that point, then this is a win. This is a win if you can at least understand that you've been lied to. Because the next thing that should happen, if you understand that you've been lied to about this, is you're going to question, okay, what else have I been lied to about? And once you start down that road, there is no coming back. And you will find that you've been lied to about a great deal of things in this life. And I am confident that once you start down that road, you'll be on a journey that will ultimately lead you to God. And so, again, it's a win. That's what needs to happen here. Collectively, people need to wake up, come to an understanding that there is a God, and that you've been lied to, and that in order to defeat the actual enemy here, because these individuals that, you know, these boogeymen that they throw up on the television screen, they're nothing more than patsies here. And we need to recognize who the real enemy is, so that you know what actual war you're in. Because in this case, they have you thinking that it's this war against left and right. And listen, politics, all it is a mechanism for division. And these elite people understand the concept of divide and conquer, because they've been in control, and it has worked for them since the dawning of time. I mean, this is nothing new. And yeah, we need to wake up about these politics. That's all it is. And you know, meanwhile, while everybody's fighting each other and pointing the finger at each other, the real culprit is out there in the shadows, and no one's actually recognizing who that is. And so what I'm hoping is, much like 9/11, that this is the event of this generation that's going to wake up a lot of people, because clearly this one is laughable and it's ridiculous, and anybody who does just a little bit of research is going to come to the conclusion that they've been lied to. And then the trickle effect of what that looks like, I've already described. That's what's going to happen, and that's going to be a win for the good against the evil here, and the light against the darkness. And so I just see so many people online questioning the narrative, and I think part of the reason why this narrative almost seems like they were forming it as they went, and it just has all these hallmarks of being a sloppy false flag type of operation. And I think that the reason for that is because they're dealing with a different beast these days when these things happen. And what they have to contend with is the fact that everybody has a cell phone in their hand now. And so as this thing's unfolding and the investigation is underway, they're also contending with this flood of data onto the internet, this visual data from footage people captured at the scene. And so they're trying to form their narrative while at the same time trying to understand what everybody's seeing. And so I think that's why it seemed like it was being formed as they went, and it just seemed very sloppy and like silly, really, just silly from the text. The whole situation with him changing outfits. I mean, he shows up in one outfit, he changes into another outfit. They got images of him in this outfit, then he's in this outfit, then he shoots him in this outfit, but then he changes back into this outfit. So there's this whole thing with the outfit, and let's not forget, this guy still has yet to confess to authorities. I mean, as far as I know, in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. But, if you listen to the TV, they got their guy, and everybody around him is talking and supporting the authorities and what the narrative is. So I guess we don't need his testimony. We don't need his confession to authorities as long as other people are saying that he said it. I mean, is that where we're at? But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, guys. And, one last little cherry on top, and I'm sure I'm missing a ton of stuff here, because, there's just so much. Just go back and look at it from the beginning. Look at what they're saying, and then look at footage, look at breakdowns of what other people are saying, and you'll see very quickly that you're being lied to. I mean, it's not going to take much. It won't take much for you to come to that conclusion. But as a cherry on top, they just come out and said that he's got a steel. His body was made of steel. Like that 30-06 round, it stopped with him. Nobody else was hit because that bullet, when it hit him, it stopped at him. Well, come on, guys. I mean, we live in a country where luckily we still have our right to bear arms, and so much of this country understands firearms. And so the fact that they would say something so ridiculous blows my mind, because anybody that understands guns is going to understand that is a ridiculous statement. I mean, a 30-06 is actually my weapon of choice when I hunt, and I've killed many white-tailed bucks, I've killed black bear, and these animals have strong hides, and I can tell you they do incredible damage on exit, and that's not what we see here. And so there's, I like I said, I don't claim to know. I don't claim to know. I'm not acting like I know what happened here. I'm just saying that what we're being told is not the truth. And if you can come to that conclusion, you're on your way, because we need to wake up. People need to wake up to the fact that you have been lied to. And so that's what's important to me. And I see a great opportunity for that to happen here, because they have butchered this one. So hopefully you spend a little bit of time looking into it, you come to that conclusion, and like I said, I'm confident you'll be well on your way to ultimately it leading you to God. And then once you're there, you're in good hands. And I think truth will start to trickle in, and you'll be hungry for it, and you'll start to understand that this world we live in isn't what you've been taught. And yeah, I would say stay tuned, because I'm curious to see where this goes, because I see now where the FBI, Kash Patel's fumbling around. Oh, we're still investigating. We're going to look into all these things. And they have all the hot topics that everybody's talking about online. So they're looking at everybody that's talking about this stuff, which in my opinion, like I said, we're living in a time of smoke and mirrors and ones and zeros. We live in a technocratic security state, and Palantir this security state is if it's not already here, it is on the horizon. And so it's very easy for them to go online and to distinguish who's awake from who's still asleep, who's the sheep here. And that matters to them, because the sheep are easily controlled. They're conditioned and they're controllable. The people who are questioning the official narrative and questioning what they're saying, they're the ones that they're worried about. And so this gives them a good gauge on who is not controllable and who is. And so that could be why this whole thing looks so sloppy, because you have to question. I mean, these people have the ability. They're powerful, rich, elite people that definitely have the capability to make this type of operation squeaky clean. But for some reason, this is ridiculously sloppy. And so you have to question, why is that? And that's the only conclusion I can come to. So yeah, hopefully people wake up. That's really all I got. I'm sure there'll be more, but for now, that's all I got. So like I said, sorry if I stepped on your toes. See you in the next one.